Welcome, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the mechanics of the AXNS protocol. We really want to figure out how you can evaluate a crypto project's true credibility. Look, I don't have to tell you that the market right now is absolutely flooded. I mean, there are thousands of projects out there, and literally every single one of them claims to offer unique speed, massive rewards, or perfect decentralization. But how do we actually look past all that flashy marketing hype and the big promises from founders? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the actual under-the-hood mechanics that build a genuinely decentralized ecosystem, and we'll be using AXNS as our case study today. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with a question of trust, move into open source and trustless systems, check out utility and scalability, unpack era, having, and burning, and then wrap it all up with a solid verification checklist. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the question of trust in crypto. We're starting with the fundamental problem in a super saturated market. When every single project claims to be the next big thing, how do you separate reality from just noise? I really want to pose this ultimate question to you. Why should we trust any blockchain project? Is it just because they've got a slick website? Or maybe a massively funded marketing campaign? We really have to challenge ourselves to stop blindly trusting those surface-level things. If a project expects you to just believe their claims without giving you a way to actually verify them, well, that's a massive red flag. True credibility doesn't come from a founder crossing their heart. It comes from verifying the code, the transparency, and the actual utility of the platform.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, open source and trustless systems. Let's look at how this builds the absolute foundation of credibility in the blockchain space. This is where we focus on why the code itself has to act as the ultimate rulebook. And actually, let's bust a major myth right now. When you hear the word trustless in crypto, it kind of sounds like you have zero trust in humanity, right? Like it's deeply cynical. But it's not. What it actually means is removing the vulnerability of a single point of human failure. You aren't forced to depend on one specific person or one team's honesty to make sure things are fair. Instead, the whole shebang relies entirely on publicly verified code.
And this really brilliantly illustrates the contrast. Think about traditional systems. A centralized company dictates all the rules. And what happens when they decide to change those rules on a total whim? You've got no say. Your data just sits on their private servers, completely unverified by you. But when we look at a blockchain system like AXNS, the rules are baked directly into smart contracts. The code is this unchangeable, transparent authority. You literally never have to guess what the rules are because they're sitting right there, completely public for anyone to verify. Because in a financial protocol, the code isn't just software, right? It's the law. By making the code completely open source, anyone, a developer, a researcher, or honestly, even you, can step up and act as an auditor. You can verify the total token supply. You can check exactly who has minting permissions, which is absolutely crucial to make sure there's no hidden backdoor for a founder to just print unlimited tokens out of thin air. You can verify transaction taxes so you don't get a nasty surprise when you try to sell. You can see exactly how burning mechanisms and staking rewards work, and most importantly, you can see exactly how much power the admins actually hold. Which brings us to Section 3, utility and scalability. So, moving from theory into practice, having a transparent system is awesome, but for a token to survive in the long term, it needs actual use cases. It needs infrastructure that stays affordable as it scales up. Remember this, if a token is rare but has absolutely no real-world use or demand within its ecosystem, its rarity alone isn't going to give it lasting value. It can't just be a digital asset that people trade back and forth. It needs functional utility. It literally has to solve a problem or provide a service. Bottom line, if there's no demand to actually use the token, the project simply won't survive. And as that ecosystem grows and the utility increases, the network absolutely has to be able to handle it. That's scalability. But, scalability isn't just about transaction speed. It's about keeping those operations affordable. If gas fees suddenly skyrocket, small users are completely priced out. No one wants that. So to prevent this, AXNS builds scalability layer by layer. They start with a rock-solid foundation. Step 1 is establishing the token and staking infrastructure. Once that is secure and, most importantly, affordable, they move to Step 2, building out the community infrastructure. And finally, in Step 3, they expand into the more complex stuff: governance, wallet integrations, and DeFi products. It's all about building that strong foundation first and then expanding. Okay, let's hit Section 4, era, having, and burning. Let's demystify tokenomics for a second by looking at how a protocol actually maintains economic balance. Like, how does a system discipline its token supply without completely destroying its own usability? Well, let's clarify two incredibly important concepts that honestly get confused all the time. Think of the token supply like a giant bathtub. Era halving doesn't destroy the existing water in the tub. Instead, it turns down the faucet to reduce the speed of future emissions. It strictly controls the inflow of new tokens entering the market, slowing down future growth to prevent runaway inflation and massive selling pressure. Burning, on the other hand, is like opening the drain. It handles the permanent outflow of existing tokens. A portion of tokens is removed from circulation forever and sent to a dead wallet, which is just an address where literally no one holds the private keys. So, halving controls the inflow, burning creates the outflow. Make sense, right?
But here is a kind of surprising fact. More burning isn't always better. If a protocol slaps on massive transaction taxes just to burn more tokens, it completely destroys usability. People will just stop transferring or trading the token because the penalty is way too high. So burning has to be carefully balanced. It needs to be predefined, totally transparent, and gradual. It should happen right alongside regular ecosystem activity so that supply discipline is maintained, but the token stays completely usable for your daily functions. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Don't Just Trust, Verify. Let's wrap this all up by bringing these technical pillars together into what I call the ultimate credibility checklist. You can use this for evaluating literally any new ecosystem you come across. Because as we've seen today, value is never, ever guaranteed by just one single feature. It's the combined strength of all these elements working together. So keep this checklist in mind. Does the project have open source code you can actually check? Are the rules trustless, removing the reliance on one person's promise? Is the infrastructure scalable and affordable for everyone? Does the token have real utility beyond just speculative trading? Is there controlled emission through mechanisms like era halving? And is there a gradual, balanced reduction in supply through transparent burning? It is exactly this powerful combination of transparent mechanisms and actual, tangible product delivery that dictates long-term success. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. It's the core philosophy driving the AXNS protocol, and it's something you should absolutely apply to all your future research in the crypto space. Don't trust, verify. I mean, why rely on blind promises and flashy marketing claims when you have the power to examine the smart contracts yourself? The tools are out there, the code is public, and the choice is ultimately yours. So are you just going to trust, or are you going to verify? Thanks so much for joining me for today's explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.